Welcome to Success in Motion. Join us as we dive deep with top leaders, entrepreneurs, and professionals, uncovering strategies to grow, scale, and succeed.
Welcome back to the Success in Motion podcast. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and I'm joined by Ameil Shadid. And we're excited to have him on the podcast. Ameil started out as a golf shop assistant many years ago and never would have imagined that he would have made it to this dream role that he has at the Chamber of Oklahoma. He is the senior VP at the Oklahoma State Chamber, and we're super excited to have Ameil here on the show today. Ameil, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Michael. I'm excited to be here. It's a unique opportunity, and I'm a little bit new in this role, fairly new in this role here at the State Chamber last 3 months, but I'm a lifelong Oklahoman, and so representing our fine state comes naturally.
Fantastic. So you've been with the Chamber for 3 months. What was it that drove you to this role? How did you get here? How did you even qualify to be a part of the State Chamber?
So it was a new position that was created by the COO and Chief Executive Officer here at the State Chamber. It came across my radar, and I knew who the COO was, who is my boss currently, and was very excited. I knew of the CEO, and when I got in a room with him and talked about what his vision is for our state and the State Chamber, he had me hooked.
Nice. Do you want to share a little bit about what that vision is for the State Chamber?
Absolutely, Michael. So Chad Warmington is our CEO, has a long, rich career here in the state, mostly in politics. He is driving our vision plan, which is centered around, obviously, economic development is very important to the state, but where does that start? And there's some key pillars there, which is education and healthcare and economic development. But starting back on the educational side, Oklahoma, we continue to settle for being in the bottom, absolutely the bottom, 46, 47, 48, 49th in key economic indicators, healthcare outcomes, as well as fourth grade reading scores, which until I came to the State Chamber, I didn't know that the fourth grade reading scores had such an impact on economic development in a person's life over the course of their time.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about how much we develop during those early years and how that development of our early years really sets the trajectory of the rest of our life. Now, I'm not saying that you can't reinvent yourself at 20 or 30 or 40 or 50, but by having a solid foundation in the first 10 to 15 years of your life, you're going to set yourself up for success or struggle for the rest of your life. And so
You're 100% correct. I mean, I hear it almost every day, Michael. We have about 625 member companies and members. And one of them yesterday shared with me that they've got a group of people who want to be auto mechanics, and there's an auto mechanic program at a career tech here in the state, and 3 or 4 of them can't read the manual.
oh man.
Hard to become a auto mechanic without reading the manual.
Yeah. Well, not only do they have to read the manual, but they have to be able to learn all of the things that you have to do with cars. Like right now, my understanding is a lot of the things on a car, it's not just replacing parts, but there's a computer system in there, and you have to be able to read the readouts
Yep.
and be able to understand what those mean and refer those codes to other manuals to be able. There's a lot of things that you need to be able to read to be able to do that. It used to be that a mechanic was considered the dumb guy who couldn't get a better job. That's not so anymore.
No, that's a long way from where we're at currently.
There's so much technology in these vehicles, and it's not just vehicles that have this technology. I feel like everywhere is they're putting technology into everything to make it
Absolutely.
better, to make it more complicated. And so as a people, we do have to step up our game and be able to be prepared. Yes, AI is a thing
Yeah.
that that is helping a lot of people, but if you can't read, you
Nothing
can't
matters.
utilize AI,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's exactly
Um,
right.
so, what are some of the things that the state are doing to affect the fourth grade reading level?
So we are not quite there yet on rolling out our vision plan, which has a name that I'm not able to share quite yet. Um, And so what we're doing to influence that is to center our State Chamber Research Foundation's work on outcomes and what incremental improvements can relate to outcomes, which end up being economic drivers in education and healthcare. And childcare is another one of our biggest struggles. We've got numerous childcare deserts in the state. And so we have, we're located in Oklahoma City, about 1.3 miles from the state capitol. And so our role as a state chamber is to be the voice uh, of business for the state of Oklahoma. That's a pretty encompassing statement. And so our role is to ensure that we have, the right policies, the right candidates, the right members, and build a force of allies, quite frankly, Michael, to go and get these things done.
Yeah, there's a lot happening in Oklahoma. Um, there, there's so you started out with being uh, Oklahoma's and the bottom five states for a lot of economic
Mhm.
factors, but there are a lot of people who are moving to Oklahoma. There are a lot of people who are bringing ideas, bringing resources, bringing talent to
Yeah,
Oklahoma. Oklahoma is right on the cusp of skyrocketing. I don't know how in tune you
we
are with
feel like
this,
that.
but
We feel like that is the case. I mean, the Oklahoma City Thunder just won the NBA championship, which is incredible. Um, but that's a microcosm of where we can get as a state in the next 5, 10, 20 years. And you're exactly right. We've had a number of, and many of them are members of the state chamber, companies with new technology in refining and electronics, whether it be um, multiple industries. Aerospace is a huge one for us. And so they're coming here. Our cost of living is great. Our cost of land is great. Our cost of capital is amazing. We need to make some key improvements in our education, our healthcare, and our childcare to make sure that once people come here, they stay.
yeah, yeah. Historically, people have thought, as you said, Oklahoma, it's just wide open spaces and cheap housing and a bunch of people who don't have a lot of money or a lot going on. But the more I talk to people in Oklahoma, the more business I do in Oklahoma, the more that I see that Oklahoma is a booming state. There's a lot of people who are moving to Oklahoma, which is really going to give you a lot of opportunity within the chamber to shape how all of that is happening, to capture that. There's a lot of money coming to Oklahoma, which can really set you guys up for success. And I'm excited to have you on the show because the chamber really does set a precedence for the way that the state moves in a lot of things. But for listeners who don't understand what the Oklahoma State Chamber actually does, can you give me a little synopsis of how you affect the economy of Oklahoma?
You bet. Politics, policy, and advocacy. Those are our three areas of focus. Um, we are deeply involved at state capitol. We have built uh, a name that is synonymous with pro-business and the ability to get things done and influenced. But we're way more than that. Our members expect us to advocate on their behalf. What that looks like is that I was in Lawton yesterday with the new president of Cameron University, and he sat down and he said, I cannot believe this was his second day. I'm so excited that you guys are here. It's the best meeting on my calendar. We've got to be involved in the state chamber. We've got to help you guys drive policy. And if we have candidates from southwestern Oklahoma that we think would be good leaders, that we need to promote them up, and so that we can deliver upon our vision plan and help to shape the economic outlook for the state moving forward.
Yeah, I used to think that the chamber was just a big networking event where business owners and different successful people would go and hang out.
Yep.
But there's so much more to what the chamber does than just a networking event. Yes, it is a networking event. You can meet some really cool people, and we all know that our net worth is equivalent to our network. And
Yep.
so the more people you know, the more you're able to grow personally and uh, in a business sense. And so there is that aspect to it, but there's also initiatives that the chamber is heading up that we've talked about, and many others that the chamber works towards to really set the direction of how all of those business leaders come together and can grow the economy within the state. And so I think that's really cool that I have you on here to kind of shed some light on that. So if someone wants to get involved with the chamber, what does that look like? How would you suggest that people get involved?
This may be a contrary statement to what most people would in my seat would answer this question that you just posed. We're not for everybody, quite candidly. I would suggest that someone reach out to me or a member of my membership team and that we have a discovery call to see what's important to that business owner. If it's networking solely, I'm probably going to direct you towards the Oklahoma City Chamber or a regional chamber. We work with those folks, great, great relationship. But if network is the only thing, I'm probably not the best place to be. So, talking about what goals a business owner has, what challenges they're facing, what we're working on here in our shop and at the Capitol to help solve those problems, and then how can they get involved? Um, that can be through membership, that can be through our 501c3, that can be through our PAC that we have here in the state chamber, or they can volunteer in time. So, it's long gone are the days of just writing a check. That's the easy part. I want somebody who's going to be engaged. We have my team. My team has a great renewal rate, Michael. Once you get in, you stick, you stay. As a member of state chamber, we renew about 94% of our members, and I think that is the best Google review anyone could ever leave.
Yeah, 100%. I, I really like what you were saying there of you're not for everybody, right? It is an exclusive group that you need to be a part of. I think that if it was for everybody, if you just let everybody be a part of it for whatever reason, then it gets watered down
Yep.
and the direction has no continuity. I really think that there is definitely something to be said about knowing what you want to get and what you want to give, and making sure that those things align with your personal interest, your business interest, but also with the interest of the organization that you're trying to be a part of. And if those don't align of what you want to get and give and what the organization wants to get and give, then you shouldn't be a part of that organization. You need to go find an organization that does fulfill those needs both ways. Have you gotten anybody that didn't really match up, and did it cause any problems that you can think of?
No, my background, I come from a fundraising background, higher ed and nonprofit. And so I've been this way for my whole life. Um, Upfront, open, honest, transparent. If If what we do is a fit for you, great. I'm going to give you the opportunity to participate. If what we do is not a fit for you, then the worst thing that could come out of this is I've got a new friend. And if someone says, you know, Emil, I don't get it. I don't understand what you guys are doing. Well, listen, again, we're not for everybody. But what I would say is let's continue to have dialogue. And if you come across issues that you think may be of interest to us, I hope you'll let me know. And so it's a refreshing people. I'm not selling used cars. It's a, I'm selling something that a lot of people don't think they need. Um, but when I frame it around, listen, we may not be for you. Let's talk about what your needs are. The boundaries and the guards come down, and we have an honest conversation.
Yeah, those honest conversations really, if you can figure out how to have an honest conversation or whatever you're doing, it really sets the the stage for success, right? Too often we come to our conversations and whatever it is with our walls up, we come
Yeah.
guarded, we come from a selfish standpoint. But when we can let those guards down, we're able to have those honest conversations, which will then not waste your time, but also the person's time that you're talking to. And you can really get through all the BS and just get to the root of what you actually want and then set your relationship up for success. So what has been one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome in your career?
Probably one of the biggest challenges, for me has been just keeping my focus on exactly the process. And when I do that, the results are phenomenal. If I sidestep out a little bit, it usually doesn't work. And so, um, understanding that this is a long game, and it has been a long game in every industry that I've been in, which to me, um, a challenge is not being transactional. I want to be relational. And when I'm relational, we seem to have done a lot better business wise. So is that a challenge? Sticking to the process is a challenge. I think for a lot of people, for me, it's just sticking to the process and knowing that it's all new technology. That's great. Um, but there's nothing that supplants open, honest, transparent conversation.
I definitely believe that shiny object syndrome is a problem. There are so many new things that are being placed in front of us every day, but you can't do all of them. Yes, you have to keep up with the times. Yes, you have to keep up with what your clients want. Yes, you have
Yeah.
to keep up with technology and doing the things the way that your customers want them to be done. But you don't have to do all of the things because not all of them are going to work for you. So keeping uh, tried and true processes is really important to finding success while you have one eye out looking for those new things to keep. And you can try those new things, but you can't lose sight of your tried and true process. And so, yeah, that is a big challenge for pretty much everybody of wanting to constantly be up to date on the newest
Yeah.
phone or the newest watch or the newest TV or the newest system or the new process, the new AI, the new website, the new everything. But they forget that this process that they've been using for the past 10, 20 years has gotten them this far. There's still something to be had in that process. You can't get rid of that completely, You just have to add to it to make it be what you need. Um, I, I've,
If I could comment on that, I
yeah,
noticed, for me, I don't wear an Apple Watch. I don't wear anything digitally. I wear an old school watch. And I have colleagues and friends who have smartwatches, and it is amazing to me what I've seen that those devices do in a negative way. Your phone buzzes, your watch buzzes. It's complete distraction. And so I've been very intentional about um, being old school, whether it be handwritten notes or wearing a watch.
that leads me into my next question, which is actually one of my favorite questions on the podcast. And this is the conversation about work-life balance.
Mhm.
And what does that mean to you? And how do you keep work-life balance in your life?
So that's looked very different over my 25 to 30-year career. Um, and I think it evolves and should evolve as we grow. For me, several years ago, um, I made some deep life changes, and those changes are number one for me. Work is never going to be number one for me. Frankly, my family's never going to be number one for me. Recovery is going to be number one for me because without recovery, nothing else matters. Nothing else works. You don't get a meal. So for me, um, I come to work and I work hard when I'm here. I've never worked a 9 to 5 job, Michael. I don't know what I'd do if I had to. I work my peak hours are morning to about 2:30 or 3. That always doesn't work for businesses, but you know, I work to be intentional about my schedule, and whether that be taking my daughter to school, making her breakfast, having 15 minutes with my wife. Um, I'm not curing cancer. There are lots of people who cure cancer. And my job is not cure cancer. And so if I'm running 15 minutes late because of something um, important, then I'm going to be okay. And so I have had times where that pendulum has swung all the way out the other way, and I placed to work first, and it almost killed me.
Yeah, I think there definitely is something to do with balance and work-life balance. I don't think it's a pound for pound or hour for hour. Like every hour I spend working, I need to go spend an hour doing
Yeah,
something for myself. But you definitely have to have some form of balance. And I think that the real thing comes back to what you were talking about with the Apple Watch. I'm not opposed to an Apple Watch. I'm not opposed to a cell phone.
yeah,
But if you have that thing set to give you every notification that the world wants to send at you every minute, you're not going to be focused on anything except for your wrist buzzing or your phone buzzing. And so you have to find a way to remove distractions.
yeah,
And if you have a systematic approach to those notifications, you can do that, but make it on your time, not on the world's time. And so for me, checking emails, I don't check emails all day. I have a time during the day that I go through and I check my emails. I'll do that 2, 3 times a day.
yep,
Uh, but I have a block. I go in, I check it, I get out. I don't have instant notifications. So if you email me, I'm not going to respond right away.
right,
But I will get to it, and I'll get to it in
sure,
a timely manner, in a professional manner.
yeah,
But I don't allow that email to run my life. But with life, I've found that you can either uh, react to life or have life react to you. And if you set intentional things in place so that you're in control of your life, you get much more done. You have deeper relationships with the people
sure.
that you're with, and you're able to really provide that value to yourself and everyone around you when you set those boundaries and expectations.
Absolutely. Depke Partners is the little consulting arm of my life. And with that, I do a lot of work in the active listening space. And so I will go into an organization or retreat or conference and talk about ways that we can actively listen and improve that so that our distractions are less and that we do have more time for a little bit more balance.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, Emil, as we're wrapping up our interview today, what exciting plans or initiatives do you have in the works over the next 6 to 12 months?
Michael, I don't know that we have enough time to share all of the things that we've got happening. I think that the biggest things that the state chamber has, number one, it celebrates its 100th anniversary in 2026. It's a monumental birthday anniversary. Number two, as we roll out our vision plan in the next, it will be in November. And when we formally roll it out, leading up to that, having those listening sessions and getting feedback is going to be amazing. I'm very excited about that. The other thing I think that we have in the works is the opportunity to raise funds through our 501c3, the State Chamber Research Foundation, to go and do research that will directly affect the policies that run parallel to the vision plan. And so it's going to be a busy next year. I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I know a lot of big things are coming to Oklahoma and for Oklahoma, and I'm excited for you to be involved in that and to keep up with what's going on and hearing about that. Well, Emil, thank you so much for your time today and sharing some insights and tips with us. If people would like to connect with you, what should they do?
You bet. You can go on to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the only social media that I'm on. It's Ameil Shadid, Shadid. My first name is Ameil, Ameil. You can go to LinkedIn and find me, or you can just call or text me. My phone number is 405-365-4044, and I'm available to visit about state chamber, active listening, as well as anything related to Oklahoma or business ideas that people have for our state.
There you have it, folks. Go and find Emil, talk to him about the state chamber, get involved, do more than just wanting a networking group. Actually want to be involved. This is an opportunity. I truly feel that Oklahoma is on the cusp of a lot of changes. And if you want to be involved with that, Emil would be a great resource to get involved with. We're grateful to have had him on the show, and we're grateful for all of you listeners out there. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning into Success in Motion. Want to share your story? Visit successinmotionpodcast.com/guest to apply and be featured on the show.